You're listening to the Kick Your Boots Up podcast, where we swap stories of the West. Whether you're just waking up or getting in for the day, come on in and kick your boots up. This week's episode of the Kick Your Boots Up podcast is one of my favorites so far. We get to introduce a new Justin endorsee, Chet Weitz. Chet is an incredible cowboy, and I've got to say, honestly, before I tell you all about him, his record is incredible for him being new to the PRCA. I've got to commend it, but let's get started with his introduction. From London, Texas, Chet Weitz grew up on a ranch where he got to have the ultimate hunting experience with his dad being a hunting guide and taking people on guided hunts. What a cool experience. I can't wait to get to know more about that. But something that I thought was pretty interesting about Chet is his mom is a pretty good and well-known team roper. And that's really interesting in the rodeo world. He gets to have that experience with his dad as well, but then his mom is kind of the one that has lots and lots of buckles, has done all the things, helped him out along the way. High school rodeo, college rodeo, both his mom and him got to do that. So that's pretty incredible. Chet, congratulations on joining Team Justin, and thank you for taking the time to be with us on the Kick Your Boots Up podcast.
Yes, ma'am. Well, thank you all so much for having me, and I greatly appreciate it, and I look forward to it. I'm super excited.
Of course, we're excited too. And speaking of excitement, there's a lot for you going on. We're in August right now, so the summer run's behind us. We're getting ready to gear up. We're cheering you on for NFR. Let's kind of talk through your life and your background and back it up a little bit and tell us about where you got started and how you got started and what your life was like growing up.
Yes, ma'am. So my dad, he grew up in Louisiana, and he didn't have much to do with, cattle or roping or anything like that. Well, as he grew older, he wanted to ranch and do stuff like that, and he loved to hunt. He always hunted, and he just always wanted to do cattle. So he ended up moving back to Sonora and London and our place. And then my mom, she always roped. She grew up roping, and like you said, she was a good team roper. As everybody I always talk to, they're like, your mom used to head so good, and she still does, but I guess it was way better back then. And they came together. My dad wanted to ranch, and my mom always roped, and they met and ended up having a family, and just kind of started off ranching and stuff like that. Well, I started swinging a rope when I was like, I want to say like 16 months old. Going to roping the dummy, doing all sorts of stuff. I won my first saddle when I was 3 at the Las Vegas dummy roping deal that they have out there at the NFR. And, I've just always grown up around it. We raised cattle, and, my mom always roped, so she always pushed me to rope. And she never really had to push me that much. I always just loved it and enjoyed it. And ever since then, I've been hooked, started roping the dummy, and started, roping calves, roping steers, and it just kind of took off from there. And, it always went through the junior high school ranks, college ranks, and now the professional ranks. And so I was super excited. And, it was always a blessing that my parents always helped me out and pushed me to ranch and to rope at the same time.
Oh, yes. And what a good family you have. Let's kind of talk about them just for a little bit. I know when I was preparing for this interview and getting to talk with you, I was talking with Darla Fisher, and she had the most funny story to tell about how, I guess you would have been 3 years old. You just said, was when you won your saddle, the dummy roping, and it was against like 4 to 6 to 8 year olds, but I'm genuinely curious for you, your first saddle that you won, was it big size or was it for a 3-year-old when you were 3?
Oh, it was definitely for a 3-year-old. I think I have it right now, and I don't think I can even get like one leg over it. We still have it at the house. Yeah, no, it's a little bitty saddle. Yes, ma'am.
Well, what a fun thing that'll be to have one day when you get to pass it on to your kids. What a fun story that is too. I love that so much. And I kind of want to talk more about your experience getting started with dummy roping, because I feel like now the event has the sport or event of dummy roping has grown and become what it is today. You can't go to a Western event in the industry and not have some kind of goat roping, dummy roping, something pop up and happen. So how important was it for you to get started there, to get the slowing it down, getting the basics, especially at such a young age? How important was that?
It was very good. You got a lot of reps in when you were young, and you don't realize that until you're older. I rope the dummy all the time, and I'll go ahead and throw another funny story out there. So my mom and dad would be at ropings, and they'd be roping and stuff. And, I don't know if my sister was born at the time, but she might have been real young. But my mom would like, here's a dummy, go rope, and she would like just let me go rope the dummy while they were roping, and I would come, I would come up. I forget who I did it to, but I was like, "Hey, do you mind if I borrow, $4 or whatever?" And they're like, "Yeah, here you go, whatever." They thought I was going to buy like a Sprite while I was going rope the dummy. We were matching on the fast lane, and ended up winning a bunch of money and gave it back to them and stuff. And I did that forever, and it was so important. You don't realize it at the time. I just loved roping the dummy. I was very competitive, and so all the friends and people that I grew up with, guys that are going to the NFR now, we started off roping the dummy and having matches and stuff like that. And it's just crazy to kind of look back on that. And it was just so important. You don't understand that you're getting reps in and just roping the dummy, and it just it started me off where I could actually rope, maybe not off horseback at the time, to do it correctly on foot. And so that's what I found out was really important for me later on in life.
I like your outlook there. That's super interesting that you appreciate the opportunity that you had as a kid to get the reps in because yes, anyone that has even tried to become any type of roper has learned that you have to start slow, you have to start at the dummy before you can even get anything that moves or even try to track a calf or steer. So that's really, really cool. I appreciate that and admire that you're an advocate for it as well. And what a fun story too to be able to say, you know what, I started gambling when I was 3 years old and I was really good at it. So that's really cool. So, kind of going back a little bit to your family aspect, I know that you're very outdoorsy. You're an avid hunter. You get to do a lot of things outside, and your dad having the opportunity to do the hunting guides. I'm just genuinely curious. Do you ever get to help him on those guided tours or guided hunts?
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, I do all the time. I love hunting. If I didn't rope or do anything, I'd probably be hunting and fishing all the time. And I bow hunt, and I just love hunting a lot. And my dad started out. We had him and my grandpa bought the ranch in London, and started out, just kind of doing it for family. And then it kind of turned into more of a job than than having a few people over that are family to come hunt. And so he kind of started, breeding deer and doing deer hunts. And I greatly enjoy that. I love seeing the process of the deer breed, and helping them along. And it just it means a lot, and I like it a lot. I love hunting. It's a challenge. I like being challenged in life too, and it's a lot of fun for me. I haven't got to help him the last couple of years, besides a couple of weekends because I've been in college and doing stuff and going to rodeos. But I just graduated college, so I think I'm going to get to help him a lot more and go back. If I'm not rodeoing, and hopefully not during December, but we'll hopefully that'll come when it comes. But yeah, no, I enjoy it a lot, so I'm super super excited to do it.
And I've got to say, congratulations, by the way, on your graduation from Texas Tech in May. That was so just so inspirational for a lot of people to be able to be really good at rodeo, but then also have that degree to fall back on. But before we move on to talk about that, I do want to ask a few more questions about the hunting because my husband says he's an avid hunter. He loves to hunt deer, and he says that like as a child he just like discovered himself in the woods, and even now when life gets too fast and too crazy he loves to just go sit in the quiet. So how do you think hunting has helped your calf roping and your team roping game?
It's helped me a lot. I when I was young, I grew up with a little Red Ryder BB gun, and you go hunt birds, or you have to sneak up on a bird in a tree, and have to go do this, and have a lot of patience. And I and like you said, at the same time, rodeoing so fast, and life is so fast, and so it's so nice to sometimes not, don't take your phone to the stand, or when you're hunting, or kind of get away from everything. And it's so so beautiful to see nature and wildlife and stuff. And it's just like you said, it's helped me a lot with patience as well. Not to get angry, or not to get too excited or too sad. Kind of stay in a happy medium. And patience is key when hunting, and to control your emotions as well. And so that's helped me a lot with not only rodeo but life in general as well.
I couldn't agree more. Lessons from the deer stand or the tree stand, in general, and life from the woods. That's the best way to live. And I'm genuinely curious there too, because there's probably been an opportunity for some more elite people to come to your guys' ranch and hunt. And we don't need to name drop or anything, but for you, what would it be cool personally to be able to do to be able to hunt with anyone? What celebrity would you pick? How awesome would that be? What would be like your dream hunt?
Oh gosh, I don't. My dream hunt would probably be, I don't know. I don't know if Tiger Woods hunts or not, but I would like to have Tiger. I think I could learn a lot from him. It would be more about learning than about hunting for sure. You
That's
know,
an interesting point. Yeah.
he's such a good good athlete. You know, he learned to control his emotions and learned to not let one shot affect him. And golf is so hard, and it feels like I feel like as rodeo people, we rodeo and golf, which are the two hardest things on our mind and our body. And you know, I think he would have a lot of knowledge, and it'd be really cool to learn from him, especially in a competitive standpoint.
Oh, yeah, and he's always got people watching him all the time, and that's very similar to PRCA. Now that you've gone pro, you're kind of held to this different standard, and so that's I love that. What a good answer. I would have probably said somebody like Luke Bryan or somebody, so that's cool. Tiger Woods, I love that. But
Uh,
moving on further, we do need to start talking more about rodeo and your future plans. Obviously, you're kind of an all-around cowboy per se. You're a team roper, calf roper, but I've got to ask more about the horses aspect because calf roping and team roping are very different. There's calves, there's steer. Granted, it seems similar, but when you actually start breaking it down and getting competitive in both, is it important for you to ride the same horse or different horses? Tell us about the horses that you get to compete on.
So I have different horses that I head and calf rope off of, and like you said, it takes a lot more for sure because I have to have three horses in each event, and so like I have all my horses are kind of older, seasoned horses. I didn't really I went ahead and bought a couple older horses as well. That way, out on the road they're a lot more seasoned. But I have three head horses. One's Ben Johnson, Spider Man, and Nightlinger, and then those are my main three. And then I have two main calf horses, and my main calf horse is Money and Mike. And it takes a lot, especially doing two events to go down the road. You have to have double the horses, double the expenses, double the feed, and stuff like that. And horsepower is such a big deal, and you can't really get by with just one good horse. You have to have multiple, and being two events, you have to have double that. So it's it takes a lot, and I'm sure I'm blessed with good horsepower. Yes, ma'am.
Oh, without a doubt. And that was good that you got to name them, give them all their shout outs too. And one thing I'm curious, we were lucky enough to catch you on a day off where you're traveling in between rodeos. How do you keep your mind settled, your horses settled in between the transition? Because it's not like you get to go to a rodeo on the West Coast, go home back to Texas, and then go back to the West Coast. You're obviously traveling most of the summer, most of the year. So tell us about your day to day whenever you're traveling, how you keep everything normal and your routine good, your head good, all of it.
Yes, ma'am. I like to stay really positive, throughout the day. Whether if I wake up, I thank God that He's blessed me with another day. Whether it goes good or bad, a saying that I have is, "Every day is a good day. Some are just better than others." And so my routine, I wake up. I'm just blessed to be able to do what I'm doing, and it depends on like if we're at a rodeo. Like right now, today, I'm in between rodeos. We came from Reno. We're going to Prescott, and it's nice to have a little bit of a break. So we're kind of reorganizing the trailer, getting things done for what we need to do over the fourth, and giving our horses a little bit of a break. We'll pony them and you know take care of them, give them a bath, stuff like that, and uh, kind of keep them exercised, but give them a break. That way, when they're going down the road, it's so hard on them to stand in a trailer for so long, and we get out and walk them while we're traveling and stuff. That way, they can stretch out, and we water them and take really good care of them. But it's super nice right now, like you said, we have a couple days in between rodeos to just let them rest, and that's a big deal.
I loved whenever we would travel to the national high school finals or whatever. I loved being able to find a spot and get the horses out, let them walk, let them roam, whatever. So that's really cool that you guys do that as well, just to make sure that they stay ready and stay on their best performance as well as just to make sure that they're ready to go. But along those same lines, how important is it for you to have like a daily feeding regimen, a daily routine with supplements, all of that stuff, just to keep them, legged up and ready?
Yes, ma'am. No, it's very important to keep them on the same program. You try to keep them on the same program that you are at home. You try to feed by, call it, 8 o'clock in the morning, or if you have to rope that morning, you feed at 6, or you try to keep them on the same program. It's hard to, especially when you're going to rodeos and they have late night slacks or early morning slacks or late night perfs and stuff like that. But it is very important to try to keep them on the same routine, morning and night, when you're traveling on the road, at a rodeo, or just hanging out, because it's just like us. If you wake up and you have your coffee every morning, that's what you're going to want to do, and that's what the horses are going to want, is to be fed every morning kind of about the same time. So you got to treat them just like you would treat yourself as well.
Yes, and I think that's a big misconception. A lot of people don't realize that you rodeo guys and gals, you guys take care of your horses better than you take care of yourselves. They're fed before you eat. They're they're to the vet before you go to the doctor. So yeah, that's very good to hear that. But kind of moving on to the future goals. I know your future is so bright, and I'm just shocked that you were able to even college and rodeo at the same do college and rodeo at the same time. That was a lot because college is very hard and rodeo is very hard. So I commend you there. But it's no doubt to us that you have a very bright future ahead of you. You have, big goals. You've set them high. What are you thinking? What are your goals for this year and then maybe for the next 5 years, the future of rodeo for you?
Oh gosh, so my goals this year, is to make the finals in calf roping and team roping. Along with that, to win the rookie, calf roping, team roping, and all around. And that's my goals. I kind of got set back a little bit this in the beginning of this spring, um, with my shoulder and stuff. But I've had quite a few people that have been encouraging me, and I've stayed positive. Something else could have happened besides my shoulder too, and so my goals never changed. Even though I was setting out for 3 or 4 months, it never changed, and I still believe that I can make the finals this year, in both, and I'm super excited for it. I've got a great team roping partner, and that my goals never changed this year, and for 5 years, down the road, it's kind of the same thing. I look to just strive to be better, and hopefully win the world, make the finals this year, and do the same the next 5 years, and continue to be a better person and follow God more as well, and just continue to progress my roping as well.
Wow, that's so good. I'm so excited for you. I know that your head's screwed on straight. You're gonna get there. And I'm so glad you brought up about your shoulder injury too, because that could have been an opportunity to let yourself get down, to let the negative talk, even to let Satan come in and tell you that you couldn't do it, but you didn't. You rebuked him and you overcame. And so talk about your experience there for a little bit because that had to have been so hard.
Yeah, it was tough. I've been working on my walk with God probably the past year, like a lot more than I have normally. And I had really good friends behind me in college. We kind of started a little Bible study group, and it helped me through a lot as well. Usually, so to I guess to rewind, I had my shoulder surgery or shoulder issue right before San Antonio, and I roped at San Antonio. I dislocated it and tore my labrum, roped at San Antonio, and then had surgery right after. For people that don't know, and I was out for 4 months. Reno was my first rodeo to enter, since then, and it would have been really easy to get down on myself and tell myself, "Oh, I don't have a chance this year," or "Oh, I may not be able to rodeo this year." And I never it's kind of weird. I never really looked at it like that. I went a couple days where I was pretty down about it right after it happened, thinking I wasn't going to be able to rodeo, but I never really told myself that, I was done, or I think God really, put his hand over me and allowed me to be positive in that aspect, because I was kind of surprised at myself as well for not being as negative. I was a lot more positive in it. And I was just, I tried to look at the positive side. I could have got hurt going somewhere. My horses could have got hurt going somewhere, or, somewhere I wanted to go, or this or that. Something else worse could have happened to me or my horses or friends or family. And, I looked at it in that point of view, and it kind of stunk, you know, seeing everybody go to Fort Worth or Boston, I mean, and all the rodeos in California and everybody making the college finals and just kind of sitting back and watching it. But like I said, I think God really put his hand on me and let me stay positive throughout that whole process. And I had surgery on Saturday and therapy on Tuesday, and I worked my butt off to try to get back, in 3.5 months to be back by Reno. And the good Lord blessed me to be back, and I just can't be happier to be out here rodeoing. So it was difficult, but it was good. I really enjoyed it. I got to do a lot of things I probably wouldn't have got to have done if I would have been rodeoing. Got to hang with some friends and spend some quality time with family, and I was super blessed about that. Yes, ma'am.
That is so needed. It's crazy how we make a plan for ourselves and then God laughs, right? Like you thought you were on track, you're going to have a soup, you're going to get prepped for the summer, it's going to be really good. You're going to go through stock show season, and he just said, "Ha ha, I have a plan for you." It's just up to it. Like, are you going to follow it? And I think that was really honestly the best thing that you could have done for yourself. So it's so exciting to see the future for you because you've been so diligent, you've been working hard. I know you were doing all the physical therapy you could to get back on, and Reno was a pretty good success for you. I'm not going to lie, like it was pretty good. So it's looking so good, especially with the season coming to an end very, very soon in September. There's a lot of money to be won, lots of more opportunities still to be had. And here at Justin, we are so excited for you. We wish you the very best of luck. We know you're going to do awesome. And we're so proud that you're on Team Justin, of course. But before we go, we want you to have the opportunity to allow everyone out there to kind of hear your story and see your story too. So where can we follow you on social media? Where can we keep up with you on the day-to-day travels of rodeo?
Yes, ma'am. So my Instagram is Chet Weitz 11, and I don't post a whole lot, so I'm trying to get better about that. Posting, where I'm at, what rodeos I'm going to, my schedule, and like you said, day to day life, and Facebook as well. I try to keep everybody in the loop. I didn't realize how important that was until here recently, and so that's kind of where you can follow me and kind of go along our day. And I'm super excited that y'all allowed me to be on Team Justin, and I can't wait to represent y'all. And I'm just super excited about it. I love what y'all are and y'all's products and who y'all stand for, and y'all mean a lot to me, and I greatly appreciate it.
Oh, of course. You're an easy pick for our team here because you stand for all the same core values that we do as well. So I know that it's going to be a very, very good partnership, and we're excited to cheer you on along the way. Really quick before we go, I've got to ask, what's your piece of advice that you'd like to give to anyone that wants to get started in rodeo, or maybe they're in a rut in rodeo? What advice would you tell them?
My advice would be to you have to keep going even if people tell you can't. So like that's what I live off of, people that tell me I can't do something, or sometimes almost like kind of make up a scenario that says, somebody said I can't do it, so I'm going to try to do it. And the thing is, if you're trying to get into roping or in a rut in roping, you can't get too high and you can't get too low. You have to stay that positive, happy medium, and you have to put God first. And God will bless you if you put Him first. And I've been super blessed. And I think hard work. It sounds so simple, hard work, but it really is. If you put the hard work in, and you put the work in, and you try, and you really really want it, you will get there. Michael Jordan, he got cut from his high school basketball team, and he put the work in and he made it. If you look at Michael Jordan, you never would have thought that. You would have thought he would have got drafted first round NBA pick, stuff like that. But he he kept working and he put the work in, and that's what I try to do. I put God first, put the work in, don't get too high, don't get too low, and you stay that happy medium, and God will bless you. So
Wow, well said. It's hard to believe that you're so young. That's really great advice, and someone out there really did need to hear it. I think I got a little piece of something from that too. So, Chet, thank you. Again, we wish you the very best of luck as you cross the finish line, headed to the NFR. We'll be cheering you on, and we're just so excited for you. Everyone here at Justin will be praying for you, cheering you on, and supporting you all along the way.
well, thank y'all so much, and I'm like I said, I'm super excited to represent y'all, and I can't thank y'all enough.
Thanks for joining us on Kick Your Boots Up. I'm your host, Taylor McAdams, and we can't wait to share the next story of the West. Until then, feel free to like, subscribe, and leave us a review. Follow us on social media at Justin Boots to keep up with our next episode, and we'll see you the next time you kick your boots up.